Oh, finally. Daye. He is the chief photographer and multimedia specialist in the strategic communications, marketing, and engagement department. Next month, Aaron will be celebrating 6 years with advancement. Yes. So we all know Aaron for his photography skills. He's always running around capturing everyone's photo. But today he is going to take us behind the lens and let us see what he has seen that has brought him to advancement. I'm very excited. I hope he's excited as well. Aaron Daye, take it away.
All right, good morning. Good morning. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be vulnerable. I'm pretty nervous. All right, so I said I wasn't gonna do this. I told Mike I wasn't gonna do this, but because I am a photographer, Brian, you already know what I'm gonna do. I would love to, if you guys can appease me for a moment, I'm gonna take a selfie real quick with y'all, all right? All right, here we go. Oh, I gotta turn it the other way. All right, y'all ready? All right, got it. Woo. So most people don't know this. I've been in Gainesville for about over 15 years. One of the questions I'm always have been asked is, so how did you end up in Gainesville? Now, I think we can all agree, Gainesville was a pretty awesome place. It's the Gator Nation. It's the home of the Gator Nation. And so everyone came to Gainesville for some particular reason, whether you usually come in for school, you come in for work. Well, I'm gonna tell you a little bit, take you guys on a little bit of a journey through my lens of how I ended up in Gainesville. I still can't believe I'm here. So in a nutshell, I did an internship. I found out about an internship. I came in for an internship in 2005. I just bought a Dodge Neon. I had $100 in my pocket. I loaded up this car and I head down here to Gainesville. Now, somewhere along the lines, as soon as I got on the interstate, all 4 hubcaps on my car in this Dodge Neon I bought fly off in every direction. I kid you not, can't make this up. I get all the way down to Gainesville. I had $100. I put gas in this Dodge Neon one time. I get all the way to Gainesville. I spent a majority of the remaining balance I had in my pocket on a hotel room for one night. The very next day I show up for this internship, I'm excited. And they were like, who are you? And you're supposed to be here? I'm like, oh, so needless to say, this journey and this internship was off to a great start. Now, fast forward to today, as Amanda had mentioned, I am the photographer for UF Advancement. I get the distinct privilege of photographing students, faculty, staff, and amazing alumni who are making an impact on not just the University of Florida through their gifts, but on the world with the things they do and with the skills they learn from UF. But how did I get here? So, long time ago, my big sister here, Nakia, I hope you're watching, Nikki, from far. I sent you the link, you should be on. She had so many jobs when I was younger. You know, she had quite a few jobs, and she would come home with these disposable cameras. And these disposable cameras would just sit there collecting dust. And I'm like, you're bringing these cameras home, collecting dust, teasing me here. And so one day I decided I'm just going to sneak one of her cameras and take her to school with me. So like any young man, I want to take pictures of my friends, you know, groups, organizations, cool cars back in the day, you know, rims were really nice. I don't have those, I want to show y'all that. But of course, you know, little high school crushes, you know, little girls and things I like, you know, you gotta take those pictures, you know. Funny thing is, even when I joined the first Black intercollegiate fraternity, the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, hey, Phi. My sister showed up and she's emotional. But one thing you don't realize is what's in her hand when she's there. If you look, she has a disposable camera. And then she brings disposable cameras for friends and family, as you see. Nadia right here with the disposable camera. I mean, she pulled out cameras like the Oprah Winfrey of disposable cameras. You get a camera, you get a camera, you get a camera, everybody gets a camera. And I'm like, where you pulling all these cameras out from? But funny thing is when I start to really think about this skill of photography, this passion for photography, I start trying to figure out where did I get it from? Looking through boxes of old photos, I would notice that my grandmother took photos of candid shots of family and friends, different things. And so one of these pictures is a few photos I put together that she took, family, friends, but then the big one is my parents. So you see them on that photo there. My mom is giving my dad a big old kiss on the day that they got married. But one thing in particular, my grandmother did not know is that she was applying photography techniques to these photos. And that one in particular, she was building the composition, building that frame out, following the rule of thirds so the subject is not in the middle, off to the side, building a depth of field with the perspective, and adjusting the lighting where they position just well, where the light is right on their face. It's a little dramatic, so you catch that moment, and it's candid. Funny thing, when I became a photographer, started showing interest, grandma showed no interest in my stuff. She told me nothing. No techniques, no tips, but that let me know that she didn't realize that she was a photographer herself. She didn't give me that skill. So when I worked at Eckert's Photo Lab, I ran into a gentleman named Robert Lawson. Now, Mr. Lawson eventually became my mentor, but through looking at his photos at the photo lab, because I was a photo tech, you processing these photos, he would come in with a bag of negatives coming to get processed. And through me being a photo tech, I would look at the stuff that he was shooting, and I became intrigued. I wanted to know more about what he did. Come to find out, he was also the university photographer at my alma mater, North Carolina Central University. Now, Mr. Lawson was a really cool guy. He did a lot of photos, a lot of work. And so through his class, I started getting a little bit into black and white photography. There's actually my photo in the center of radio personality, TV host, and author Tavis Smiley doing a think tank at North Carolina Central University. So trying that out from that black and white, I started getting into black and white photography. On a class trip, we go to New York, and of course, it's New York City. What can you not take a photo of? And so I started trying to sharpen my skills, being self-taught into this thing, and learning, taking photos of landscape, architecture, buildings, cityscapes, playing around with lighting, especially all the bright lights in New York, and just really trying to hone in on my skills and try to figure out what I want to do with this. So I took those skills back to North Carolina Central, where I worked for the award-winning Campus Echo student newspaper. Now, I came there, my first semester, I said, all right, I'm gonna do this, it's gonna be great, let's do it. I quit the newspaper. I said to myself, I'm never gonna work for a newspaper, so why do I need to work here? So I ended up getting a job in the mall, selling shoes. This was not what I wanted to do. So I come back to the Campus Echo like, hey guys, you got any photos I can take? Y'all need some help? And so, I eventually became the photo editor for the newspaper, won a couple of awards, and by the time I graduated, I was one of 4 photographers selected by the New York Times to attend the New York Times Student Journalism Institute at Dillon University in New Orleans, Louisiana. Part of the 2005 class, so it was really major to be one of 4 photographers selected for this day. So, but while we were there, this whole program in New Orleans, we put together at the end a 28-page newspaper. All right. Now, within this paper, because there was 1 or 2 other people from the Campus Echo who had attended the previous year, I went there and I said, you know what? I'm going to kill it. I got to go here. I got to take every photo I can take. Wherever they need me to go, I'm going here. We got a newsroom that's open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So I'm here at 7, what we got to do, and I'm here till 10 at night, trying to get all this stuff processed. Like, we have to make this thing work. So at the very end of this whole program, the 28-page newspaper, I busted my butt so hard that out of the 28 pages, I had photos on 13 of those pages. Between the 4 photographers, I had the most photos in the newspaper, including 22 photos, as well as a photo essay of the life of a mascot, the mascot for the Zephyrs minor league baseball team. It was amazing. Opportunity, something that you can't pass up. So I get back home from this internship and from this fellowship with the New York Times, and I get an email that about an internship in Gainesville, Florida. So of course I get here, I come down for this internship. It's 2005, I get here. By 2006, the internship will be 10 weeks. 10 weeks turned into a year. So by 2006, I get hired as the first Black photographer for the Gainesville Sun. I'm gonna let that sink in for a second. This is 2005. I come in 2005, 2006, I am hired as the first Black photographer for the Gainesville Sun newspaper. It's amazing. I'm like, for real? So that same year, the Florida Gators won national championship. So the following year, they get an invite to go to the White House. And who do they get to go to the White House? Little old me, Daye from Durham, North Carolina. So funny story about this. Now going through security was very intense, just to say the least. I'm not gonna go into full detail, but finally getting through this security, we go out, all the photographers, videographers, we're escorted to the south lawn. And as you walk out, the risers where the photographers are off stage left. Podium, the risers for the videographers are straight ahead at the podium. So I'm here on this riser, trying to set up this shot and looking like this is not gonna work. So I look over to my left and I see the videographer's riser. I grab my stuff, I'm head over that way. So as the ceremony is about to start, the music begins to play. President Bush walks out, he says hello to Earth, and then they keep going with the program. As he starts, now keep in mind now, the photographers are on this side. So as he starts, he turns his back to the photographers, forms his arms to do a Gator chomp, because if you're a Gator, you know it's right over left, and does this. And I'm just standing there back here, I'm like, oh, I see it happening. This is my moment. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. And so I had this long lens, I kid you not, it was 400 millimeter lens, and I just motor drive it like, I mean, it was like 1,000 photos I took, and I swear, he looked like a flip book, like, like a bobblehead almost, And I'm thinking like, I got this shot, yes. And I'm on the risers, which is very fragile. And so I'm thinking like, oh, I got this shot. And the videographer is looking like, can you keep it down? And all you hear from the photographer side is, oh, did you get that shot? And I'm thinking like, I got that shot. This is gonna be first page. I know it's gonna be front page of the newspaper. All right, I'm so excited. We get to, at the end of the ceremony, we get to the press room. I'm in the press room and I'm excited. I see him transmit these photos and everything back. And while I'm in there, I was like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get a chance to come back here. So let me go ahead and take a photo. So I am bugging some of the people who are supposed to be working. Like, hey, if you wanna take this picture for me real quick? I don't know when I'm coming back. So I had to make sure I get this shot. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. One of the things that's really interesting about all of these stories is that as I close, so I want to keep you guys long, it's almost food truck time. But as I close, I had the opportunity to continue to tell these stories and be a part of a collaborative book project called 10 Toes Down. It is a 3-part series, and I had the privilege of being one of the only authors out of 12 from the Gainesville area in volume 2 called 10 Toes Down, Defining Moments. Now, there are a lot of stories that I've shared with you today. I gave you a little bit of snippet. Now, if you want to find out more about these stories, find out what happened with this Dodge Neon and these hubcaps, go to my website today, aarondaye.com, and get your signed copy today. But no, I do have copies of this book, and this was an amazing privilege and a pleasure to be a part of this project. And now I add author to my title. Now, it's just amazing just to see this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm looking at this one more time on the screen. That's me. But no, in all seriousness, guys, this project is something that's very dear to my heart. And after both my parents passed, this book has been dedicated to both my parents, but also to my sister, who started me on this journey in photography with those disposable cameras. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here with you guys today, taking these great photos and headshots of each and every one of you. So with that said, I thank you guys so much for your time, and I'll photograph you soon. Go Gators.
Nerves where? Nerves where? Thank you, Aaron. That was tremendous. Thank you so much for sharing that story. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived to the end of today's session. I hope you all have had a wonderful, wonderful time listening to your colleagues, learning a little bit more about them, but more importantly, reflecting on your own journeys and where you all are. Kim started us off with alignment. That's what it's all about. I don't believe so much in coincidences or serendipity. I believe things happen on purpose. And if we wake up with that purpose every single day, you get to the top 5. You work with great people every single day. That's not an accident. That's intention. And from there, Andrea and Rick walked us through how we can take those things that happen in our lives that we don't even think we can use to help us close that deal, that we can help cultivate, that we can help us find the prospects to help us be successful in that way. But really, if we all sit and think about it, everything that we do from our hobbies to our prior roles can all drive the work that we do here. So thank you for reminding us of those transferable skills. Seth, thank you. Who would have thought that you had been able to take the metaphor of the mind and remind us every single day that we are shining our lights on one another, and it's about the work that we do. It is not about us. It's about each other. Aaron, you take great photos. But thank you so much for being able to take us behind the lens into that journey that has taken you from photographer to now published author. Congratulations on all of that. These are just some of the stories. And I hope that all of you who are sitting in this room and watching us on Zoom, we haven't forgotten you, that you all feel empowered to tell your own story in the same way. Top 10 Talks is a fantastic program. It's a great opportunity. It is a way to open yourselves up in ways that you probably would not even think you could do so. But I know all of us will be walking away really thinking about the great stories and the experiences and ideas that were shared today. So without further ado, I am your host, Amanda Edwards. Thank you so much for allowing me to take you on this journey with our team. Go Gators. Go Gators, right? Go Gators. And let's go get a food truck, right? Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you.